Hey everybody, peace and blessings to you, love and light, and positive energy. I hope this video meets you well. I am recording on May 1st, 2025. Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. And I have things to say. I have things on my heart and in my mind, and I'm feeling things, and I have things to say, but I don't know how the words are going to come out. I am Letitia. For anybody who might be discovering me for the first time, I'm an INFJ empath, intuitive, light worker, homeschooling, home managing, immigrant mom of 5 children living in the US. I am so many things. Millennial mom, writer, poet, inspirer, and I absorb energy. I read energy. I am learning how to do it. The purpose of my channel is Letitia Learns Life, so it is me discussing my observations and the lessons I learned, the things I learned to help me to navigate this timeline as all the things that I just told you I am. A millennial mom, home managing, homeschooling, millennial mom, everything that I just described, learning how to process the information that I'm seeing, that I'm observing. I am creating. I'm in a season of creating the future version of myself, the butterfly version of myself. I am in that butterfly era, and I'm in my light worker era, as a contrast to the darkness, as a contrast to the dark energy that has basically that is trying to suck up all the oxygen in the world and trying to overcome the entire world with darkness and trying to shift the world into something dark and ugly and destructive and dangerous and chaotic and all that negative energy. I am focusing on the contrast and being the light, as well as like a sunflower facing the light, paying attention to the things that are of love and of light and of light energy, even with the awareness of the dark energy that is around us, even with an awareness of what's happening, what's what. So the whole theme of this video that I'm recording is, the title is going to be Trump. Trump. This video is to talk about Trump, and what he represents, what his energy, his spirit, his everything that he is, everything that surrounds him, everything that is in his orbit represents, everything that clings to him, everything that is devoured by him, what he represents. I was just talking to my mom, and I said, the man's the devil, but he's not. He embodies the devil energy, right? He embodies the Antichrist energy. He embodies the worst of mankind in every aspect of everything that is our shadow versions of ourselves, the low vibration version of ourselves, the worst elements of ourselves, when we allow the monsters in us, the darkness in us to take control, and we give into our animalistic instincts, our lizard brain, as I've heard said, our lack of self-control, our child, our the immature versions of ourselves. He embodies the worst of all of us. We can see he emboldens the worst in all of us. And if that's what we feel attracted to, if that's like what we choose, then you cling to that dark energy and you allow that dark energy to embolden you and cause you to just give into the worst instincts of yourself and to take the worst actions and do the worst things. And my mom said, when I said he's a devil, and again, not talking about the devil as in a physical devil, I'm talking about the energy of the devil, what the energy of the devil represents, what that spirit represents. And my mom said, yes, because the devil, according to the Bible, he's here to steal, kill, and destroy. Steal, kill, and destroy. And that's what that energy does. That's what is happening over there. That's the policies and the decisions and everything that he has done at his administration, his administration, usually I call it regime, but I'm going to say administration this time. I don't know why the regime is not coming out as easily as normal, but his administration, that is what their policies have been all about for the last 100 days. For the last 100 days, it is about killing, stealing, and destroying. And the cruelty is astounding. It's hard to put into words the cruelty. It's hard to put into words the why. What could possibly be the goal or the intentions but to do those things, to steal, kill, and destroy? What could possibly be the goals and intention but to kill, steal, and destroy? I saw either yesterday or the day before, like the last 24 hours has the energy of Trump has come into my orbit. For the most part, I, even with all the things, the news notifications that I see and the things that I see, and I see they said he did this, he said this, and I would be like, of course he did, and I swipe. Of course he did, and I swipe. And even with doing that, there's some periods and moments where it is so awful and so terrible that it's even harder to ignore. So we having conversation about deporting a 4-year-old in the middle of cancer treatment, and apparently a U.S. citizen, 4-year-old. Again, this is not something I read. This is something I've heard from other, creators and other speakers, other messengers online messengers. Because for the most part, I'm trying to focus my attention on my purpose, my goals, and what I am supposed to be working on, what I'm supposed to be doing. And what I believe I'm supposed to be working on is the creation of me, and creating the future version of myself, being prepared for when anchoring the light, and being prepared for when we move into the new world, into something different, because this is not sustainable and it won't last. It won't last. Everybody's not going to survive it, but it will not last, and it's not sustainable. And I'm trusting and believing that my family will make it through to the other side. And I'm preparing myself for the version of myself that is moving into that world. I'm already in it, but the version of myself that I'm going to be when the world catches up with me, when the world comes to where I'm at. When we all move into a newer world, a new earth, a new future together, and that's an energy, a frequency, as somebody said. It's not we all getting in a plane or a boat or we physically moving somewhere. It's a frequency. It's when the frequency and the energy of new earth rises to the point that it overcomes old earth. Old earth, old mindsets, old skin is shed, is gone. It is a faded memory. It's passed away, and I could see the things happening. It is happening, and whatever we focus our attention on, we got to be really, really paying attention, because as much as we're hearing about the American 4-year-old deported in the middle of cancer treatment, and then there was another one that I heard about a 2-year-old deported, and these are things that I've heard, but I haven't read the articles or anything like that. And you're hearing about the horrible policies. You're hearing a whole bunch of things, the horrible policies, the terrible things that are being said, the terrible actions that are being taken, the lies that are being told, the gaslighting. Yesterday, there was the whole putting pictures of criminals as depicted, like mug shots or something, of people that was deported, like gang members or whatever they're trying to portray, with this mug shots of gang members on the White House lawn. And when I saw that, I thought about how that White House lawn was used before by Joe Biden and his wife. I thought about how they used it to highlight love. I remember Valentine's Day, how the White House lawn was decorated with hearts, and if I remember the one that stands out to me was the Valentine's with the hearts and loving words on the hearts, by Jill Biden, Dr. Jill Biden. And if I remember too, there was also like cancer ribbons on that White House lawn at one point, if I'm remembering correctly. But the one, like I said, the memory that really stands out is the hearts and the words that was on the hearts, and just loving energy that was on that White House lawn, when that White House was embodied by more loving people. People that, in my opinion, are of the light. They might not be perfect, but they are of the light. And they were there to show the contrast when the time came, so that we would see the contrast. They were like in the middle of an dark energy sandwich. That was the feeling, the light that was in between this sandwich of darkness and cruelty and hate and ugly and so that's what I remember. Then I also saw yesterday or the day before, someone that I follow on TikTok, Raw Cognizance. I follow him on TikTok and also on YouTube. He showed a clip with an interview that guy that we're talking about in this video did, where he had this photoshopped picture of somebody's tattoos on their hands, and most of the tattoos was real, I think, and then right on the knuckles they had MS-13, literally photoshopped MS-13 on the knuckles, and that was a way in which he was attempting, that guy I'm talking about, to gaslight the journalist that was interviewing him, as well as the people watching the interview, I guess, into accepting the lies. That was his way of proving that this person was a gang member. And when he pointed out, that guy pointed out about he said he literally had MS-13 tattoos on his finger, on his hand or something, however he worded it. The reporter tried to quickly say, that's Photoshop, but let's move on, like trying to like quickly correct him, and trying to like shift the attention into another topic, into another question, which I don't think was the right thing to do. I think that was, once again, these journalists attempt to normalize something that should not be normalized. Normalize a creature, from the pits of hell, a psychopath, an insane person, somebody that doesn't have a coherent thought or anything of any relevance or significance or purpose to say. Nothing but lies, nothing but deceit, nothing of any value to say. That was their attempt to have that person move on from the gaslighting and the lies that they were trying to do, and try to continue the interview. Normalization, if you ask me. Now, I didn't watch the interview, but just seeing that clip and seeing how this journalist, this reporter, was trying to have some semblance of normalcy or control over this interview, with to no avail, because that never works. But yet still, so they always think that they could. It never works. And then that guy, the person that we're talking about in this video, he went on to have some sort of little teeny tangent about the journalist and said, this is an exclusive here. I picked you, well, because frankly, when I saw your name, I didn't know who you were, and I don't know, some incoherent shit. Basically, the energy of what I believe he was trying to say, or he was saying, is, dude, you're supposed to, I gave you an exclusive, I choose you for this interview, you're supposed to go along with my lies. That's what I got from what he was saying, what he was saying in his own Trumpy way. Oops, said the name. Anyway, so the insanity of it. And, then, so we have been talking about the 100 days, and people have been talking about his 100 days and his first 100 days, and how, and as he hit 100 day mark, news about the economy and how bad it is right now, how it is not trending in the right direction. Like, headline words that were used were shrink, and contract. Basically, it's looking like the beginning stages of a recession. And he tries to blame that on Joe Biden. And he's trying to say that is Joe Biden's economy, which is ridiculous and absolutely, utterly utter nonsense, because in his first 100 days, he has done so many destructive things to, I don't know if it's intentional or what, but to destroy the economy, to hurt the American economy. And he has been doing very, very well at making decisions and doing erratic things to hurt the economy. And to, to hurt the American economy. So that is not a Joe Biden economy. I saw watch a video from a creator. He's my Angry Voice creator, because there's some creators I watch that are my Angry Voice, because I don't have an angry voice really. I wish I did, but I don't have an angry voice. So Cliff Cash Comedy is my Angry Voice, and then there's another creator that I watch. Let me see if I can find him. I got my computer on right here. Let me see if I can find any videos with him right now so that I could tell you the account. The irony, I don't see anything on my screen right now. The latest video, one of the latest videos I saw was entitled "Impeachment is Coming." Oh my goodness. I actually have to look for it. It's not on, I have my screen up on YouTube, and it's not on my main screen. He's not on my main screen, my feed right now. Yeah, so this YouTube creator this YouTube channel that I watch is the Romano Report, and a day ago his latest video was "Impeachment is Coming." And the one I watched was Faffle America, comma, America, exclamation. And that was talking about the recession, the possible recession that is on its way, And here we are. Yeah, and this morning I watched a video from Jasmine Crockett. I shared it in my post section on my YouTube channel, where she was talking about what they did in the oversight committee last night, when they're kind of like, according to how she said it, they voted on the other side of the aisle. They voted to, the title of the video is Judiciary Gone Well. It's from Representative Jasmine Crockett's account. And they voted to give Trump the power to deport American citizens, apparently. And that's where we are. And in the video, she had other representatives sharing their thoughts on what's what. And Eric Swalwell said, "I'm shocked," and she was like, "Yeah, he's shocked. He still has a little bit of shock." I basically saying she's not shocked, and I have to say I concur. I'm not shocked. I knew this was coming, and I told my mom on the phone this morning when I spoke to her. I said, if you were wondering how I suddenly woke up and became this kind of politically engaged person, and I was making all these videos and I was trying to talk to people and I was sharing, and over the last 8 years I was a what you would call woke, and I tried to learn and I tried to share and I tried to use the bullhorn as best as I can with my soft little voice. I'm not a loud mouth. And like I said, I don't have an angry voice. So I tried it as best as I can to wake people up in the gentlest way, because that is my personality. But they're angry voices. They're my angry voices represented by people who are better at angry voice and better at, waking up people with tough love and cuss words and the harsher ways of saying it, than I am. And there's a language for everybody. And I guess I'm the gentle one who speaks to the ones who would like to hear and be informed, but of things, be aware of things, made aware of things with a quiet, gentle voice. I'm that kind of communicator, and I am for the people who appreciate that kind of communicator. I haven't talked about politics a lot lately in a big way, in a direct way in a while, because I've been focusing on something different. But I felt called to talk about this today. And I want to say, and I've said this before, and I stand by it 100 days later. I stand by it even now. I do not believe that that guy that we're talking about, I don't believe that he won legitimately. I don't believe that he won. I believe that he stole. I believe that he was assisted by many thieves, a billionaire thief with satellites in the sky and access to a lot of technology and capabilities that I can't even begin to imagine, and access apparently to a lot of young talent too, a young, brilliant talent, with a lot of resources, a lot of resources available to them. And they use all the resources available to them to help. And how far that goes, I personally believe that it goes all the way into the realm of hacking and technological stealing, technological cheating. That's how far I believe it went. And there is a group of people called Election Truth Alliance that are working on that, and that are teaching about that, and that are sharing their theories and perspectives. It's a little hard to get to the truth, because the energy around getting to the truth at the time that you needed to be, getting to that truth and having like the still, when you got the evidence, you get what I'm trying to say. Like, before certain things disappear, certain truths are a little bit harder to find and prove, right? So Election Truth Alliance Election Truth Alliance. They have a YouTube channel and a website, electiontruthalliance.org. I stand by that belief as an intuitive, as a person with common sense, as an intelligent person, as a person who reads energy, that sees patterns, as an INFJ empath. I stand by that belief that it was stolen. I understand why things went the way it went to a certain extent. I don't fully understand. I still don't really fully understand why Kamala Harris did not fight at the beginning of this a little differently, and why Joe Biden didn't fight a little differently, and why they didn't put up a bigger fight in certain aspects of it. I don't understand. But for them, from my human perspective, and looking at them as human beings, and I don't understand. But as an intuitive, spiritual person perspective, I believe that we are on the greatest timeline. I believe that this timeline had to happen. I believe that this had to happen because things had to come to the surface. Revelation. We're in the revelation period of a certain energy, of a certain time, a certain old world. The ending of the world. The world had to come to an end. That world had to come to an end. And we are in the ending of that. We're in the ending of that old world and that old energy, and those old mindsets. So the revelation part of it, we're in the revelations, and truth has to come to the surface, and things have to be destroyed and killed, unfortunately, and, moved. And that is what is happening. Things are shifting. People are moving. Certain people are moving out of the way, and certain people are moving into a certain kind of leadership and a certain kind of area, of leadership and power. And we are all becoming. I would not have become what I believe to be the greatest version of myself currently. I'm still in the works. But the greatest version of myself so far, I would not become her without that guy, without him as a catalyst, without what the energy that he created and world he created, in which I had to adjust and become something a whole heck of a lot different. And I had to see the world differently, and I had to wake up, and I had to be different. And I would not have become that if not for what he was and is, and what he created, the energy he created. But I do not believe that majority of people voted for this. I do not believe that he won. And legitimately, I believe it was stolen. And I believe that the truth will be revealed, but I don't know when. But I do believe that we are on the greater timeline, the greatest timeline that will lead to the greatest outcome. And there will be people that will not survive it because they weren't meant to. They weren't meant to go to that new world. They had a different purpose and a different reason for being. And they're fulfilled, or will be fulfilling their goal, their purpose and their time here in a different way. And there's a thing that people say where it says, God don't give you any more than you can handle. Well, there are some people that their purpose was to take on a darker energy, like Jesus, like what Jesus did. To take on a darker energy on their bodies, to take in something darker in their bodies and in their presence and in their being, in order to save lives, in order for people to learn, or to be awake, or to save lives, or in order to change certain lives that they have touched, And I am not God in the sense that I didn't make things the way they are. I am who I am. I didn't make things the way they are, but I am a creator. I am one of the co-creators of this world. I'm one of the co-creators of what we are creating. And even though I may not have made things the way they are, and I don't have all the knowledge and all the answers and all the knowledge in the world, I do know this. I'm participating in the creation of the new world. And I believe that we are, all these things that are being revealed and all these traumas and triggers that are coming to the surface is with the purpose of us transmuting dark into light. And is for the purpose of us healing. And is for the purpose of us being aware of the cracks and being aware of what is broken and being aware of what needs fixing or changing or shifting. It is to destroy so that the planet could heal and the people could heal and the new world could be birthed. And, you know, we are part of the creation of the new world. We are a part of the creation of the new world. We are co-creators in it. You know, we are all doing it differently, but we're doing it. We're using our voice. We're using our power. We're reclaiming our energy, reclaiming our power. We're transmuting darkness into light. We're seeing what we need to see so that we could fix what is broken. Not fix what is broken. Well, yeah. Fix what is broken. And sometimes plant something new. Build something new. In some areas we fix. In some areas we rebuild. We replant something new, like I said. We create something new. You know? But there's a purpose for that, guy. And, you know, the darkness and the cruelty, like I said, is astounding, is unbelievable. It cannot be put into words, really. You know? And I honor the people that, the lives that will be lost. Well, whatever remains, we rebuild, we create, and we move into something new, because this will not last. It will not last. Thank you for watching. Peace and blessings.